And yeah, it wouldn't be a Monday without our pal Diego. So let's bring in Diego here. Hi, Diego. Good morning.
Hello, Jason, and hello, world. This is Diego broadcasting live from Seattle, Washington, in the United States, the Microsoft headquarters. I am here in my office, and I had quite a journey at Microsoft, 2 decades, working on many teams in engineering and human resources and developer relations. And I've been putting this world together, full of ideas and anecdotes and scientific discoveries and poetry. I use it to share, to nurture my own sense of wonder, but also to share it with you, Jason, and with you, audience.
Awesome, Diego. Last week when we were talking in preparation for this, we were talking about your job in life is so many different things, but one of them is putting smiles on faces. And I can just tell at heart you're an artist. You're always reaching for some kind of instrument. You've got all these different things. And I know today's bit of wisdom that we're going to be working with or talking about is in fact about some ideas around how you perceive the world. So why don't you share some more about that?
Yes, that's a great segue to this post that I wanted to share today. It's actually a cartoon, like a joke. I couldn't find the author to give proper credit, but here's the cartoon. And if you can see, it's a rhino, great animal, the rhino in Africa here. And he's a painter. He's painting things. And he's painting beautiful views right here. But you can see the joke that all his views have a big horn in the middle, and that is because the rhino, that's his view. He view the world and there's a big horn on his nose, so that is the joke. But this actual cartoon actually captures like a very deep essence of our life, which is we don't have horns, we have noses, but we're pretty much walking rhinos with horns. And what I mean by that is that we all have different hardware, right? Like, for example, dogs can see less colors than you, Jason. But birds can see more colors than you. So dogs and birds see the world different than you. Can you imagine looking at the sky and instead of seeing blue, you see like 100 shades of blue? The world is really like different for everybody. And the quote that I like is, you cannot understand the view without understanding the point of view. Like you can really understand the view the rhino painted without understanding that the rhino has a horn that is blocking his view. We all have these situations. Like I am colorblind. So for me, like green, brown, red, pretty much the same color. So I don't see the same world as you, but tall people see the world different than shorter people. We all have different backgrounds and upbringing. So where I grew up, if you're walking at night on the street and you see someone coming in, that's like stranger danger. Like I better cross the street because this could be bad. But other people grew up in places where if you're walking at night on the street and you see someone in, oh great, let's chat. It might be my neighbor, So we bring those upbringings, those backgrounds, those points of view to work. Jason, can I tell you how this relates to Microsoft? And
please do, yes.
The way it relates is that when you look at a product like, let's say, Microsoft Teams, it's a great product right now helping the world. I'm not exaggerating. Like my prediction is there are probably more than 100 different teams at Microsoft making that product. Like the tech stack of a complicated product like that is very deep. And there's from identity, from security, from the interface, everything. And those different teams may have slightly different points of view. They have different incentives, different objectives. So to make something like Microsoft Teams work, we really need to understand each other's point of view, and that's complicated. That's complicated. We gotta be able to look at the views of everybody, the point of views, and come up with that shared understanding of reality. There are very few things that are absolute truths in the world. Scientific discoveries follow scientific methods. Those are truths. Everything else is all relative.
Yeah.
Am I making any sense so far?
Yeah, no, and those are great points. And I think, everybody's got their own perspective. Everyone has the world as they see it. And I think it's important to acknowledge that and recognize that, but also to your point, tall people see the world differently, colorblind people see the world differently. It's important for us to somehow change our perspective and mix it up and try to see the world through their lens and understand more about what it's like for others who aren't us, and that helps us really fill in the blanks and create a more high fidelity version of what the world really is. And that's really what empathy is, right? Is you just kind of put yourself into other people's positions and say, I recognize what it's like for me, but that's just for me. And I think that really helps us, understand people a little bit better, understand situations, understand life a little bit better.
Jason, I have some good news.
Lay it on me.
There's a tool to be really good at this. It's not used very often, but I think it's available to all of us. It looks like this. It's an ear. We all have at least one, maybe two of them in the human body. This is actually, I like to say, the most attractive organ in the human body. That's a joke that I make, but it's actually true, because nothing feels better than feeling heard, that feeling understood by someone else. So all we have to do is ask questions like, Jason, where did you grow up? How do you see the world? Like, what are your fears, your aspirations? What are your incentives? What are you trying to do? Where do you come from? And then shut up and listen, and listen, and listen, and listen. And that can help us develop that empathy that for another person, to understand their story. What is their point of view? And then I'll tell you, if you have the same history of someone, you're probably going to see the world the same way. So, but we didn't. So we have to try to look from their point of view, just like the rhino in the picture, and then shared understanding happens, and the world gets better, and we can ship products like Microsoft Teams that can have a big impact. So that's all for me. I'll see you on Friday.
All right. Thank you, Diego. We'll see you next time.